So we got Lions at Packers. Line as of today is Green Bay by 13 and an over-under of 48.5. So they're expecting some scoring in this game. Um, but the Lions. Calvin Johnson is questionable, though seems likely to play to me. Packers have not looked like the Packers the last 2 weeks.
Both games were on the road for the Packers. They're returning to Lambeau Field against a division foe that they really enjoy beating. They've beaten up on the Lions this past decade, even more. The Lions have just been bad against the Packers, but they do get up to play. I know they really want to beat the Packers. Everybody in the NFC North wants to beat the Packers.
Stat I saw today, Randall Cobb was 18 months old the last time the Lions beat the Packers at Lambeau.
So you got to pick the Packers. Minus 13 is a lot of points, so I get it if you're gambling, you take the Lions. But I think the Packers are going to win. I think this is a game where it's one of those FU games for Aaron Rodgers. He wants to come out blazing, and he wants to score a lot of points. He's very expensive on FanDuel. He's 9,200 on FanDuel. On DraftKings, he is 7,500.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Green Bay offense. I would probably go for Rodgers and a pass catcher. I'm going to stay away from those running backs.
You don't like the James Starks starting over Eddie Lacy, Mike McCarthy's commitment to the run that he's been reiterating this week?
What did he say?
Oh, he was just like, we're going to run it and we're going to pound it and then we're going to run it. Like it was a real redundant push on their running game. And then the whole thing that Starks is taking over in advance of Lacy.
Well, James Starks is 6,000 on FanDuel. He's 4,900 on DraftKings. He's a good pass catcher, so I like him in that PPR format of DraftKings. I think there's just some nice values for running back less than 6,000 this week on FanDuel, so I'll stay away from him on FanDuel. I like the play. I have him in season long, so I'm playing him there. But we're talking DFS, so
Yep.
play him on DraftKings. Go somewhere else on FanDuel. Who I really like this week for the Lions is Joique Bell. He's a little inconsistent with his work. 7 carries against Kansas City on November 1st. 3 against the Vikings. 10 against the Broncos. But I like Joique Bell.
Well, at 3,200, you don't have to get a whole lot from him. If you're doing a stacked lineup of other stuff and you need somebody cheap, 3,200 on DraftKings. What is it?
52 on
52
on FanDuel. Green Bay Packers are giving up 4.5 yards a carry, 125 yards on the ground this season. I say it every week against the Packers. To keep Aaron Rodgers off the field, you run a lot. They did it with Jonathan Stewart. They did it with C.J. Anderson and Ronnie Hillman. They gave him plenty of carries. I think Joique Bell gets the most of the work. They have Theo Riddick, who hasn't been necessarily getting a ton of work, but he's definitely on the depth chart, and he's worth considering, especially if you need let's just look up Riddick really quick. Theo Riddick, 3,300 on DraftKings. 5 attempts against KC, 3 against the Vikings, 7 against the Bears. They're throwing a lot, those Lions. But in order to keep Rodgers off the field, you got to run the clock. You got to run the ball. The running defense isn't that great. They were able to hold Jonathan Stewart to 66 yards on 20 carries last week, but
he still got 20 carries, though.
He got the work, exactly. And I think Joique Bell's going to get the most work out of the backfield for the Lions. So he's my play on that team. Although Calvin Johnson, he's always a threat. He's a great player.
Yeah.
But Matthew Stafford is clearly regressing. It's been tough for him. Joique Bell. That's my play for the Lions. I don't have any others.